What is up, mathletes? Welcome back to the episode of Math with Dr. Math. And this week, we're going to be talking about that 45, 45, 90 triangle. Don't go anywhere. Has anyone seen my Santa hat? All right, mathletes, so check this out. We have our 45, 45, 90 triangle. And here, right, when you have this, you're in luck because we have some rules that we could use to make life easier. And what these rules are going to help us do is find some missing sides to this triangle. All right, so this is how it works. So the sides that are opposing those 45-degree angles, those two sides, notice the 45-degree angles, they're the same. So their opposing sides are going to be equal. So that's why this triangle here, these two sides here are labeled A and A because they're exactly the same. So that's great news. And to find the hypotenuse, right, that longest side here, which is opposite, which is opposing the 90-degree angle, right, all you're going to do is attach the square root of 2 to whatever one of the whatever sides you're using, right, because they're the same. All right, so how does this look in practice? Well, let's look at some quick examples here. All right, so example number 1, notice they tell us this angle right here is 45 degrees and this angle is 90. So right away, we could do some quick math, and if this is 45 degrees and this is 90, then we know that missing angle here is also 45 degrees. So we know this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, all right? And if you're ever confused about that, remember, the angles of a triangle always equal, when you add them up, they always equal 180, always, all right? So since they give us the opposing side to this 45 degrees, they tell us this is 5. So what we know is we also know that y there also equals 5 because these two lengths are the same. And what did we just say with the hypotenuse? Well, the hypotenuse is equal to 5, and all we do is tag on that square root of 2. So again, whatever the length of one of those sides is, all we do for the hypotenuse is tag along the square root of 2 and you're done. It's that easy. But there's some that are a little bit more complicated, so let's check out those, right? So let's look at number 2. It's really not that much complicated, more complicated, but check it out. All right, so here this length that's opposing the 45 degrees is 8 square root of 2. So one thing I always want you to identify is first find your hypotenuse, that longest side, and the longest side is going to be the one opposing that 90-degree angle, right? So this is my hypotenuse. So if this is 8 square root of 2, that means that this side over here is also 8 square root of 2. So this is 8 square root of 2. All right. And what do we say about the hypotenuse? Well, it's also going to be 8 square root of 2, but we're also going to throw in an extra square root of 2. So if you haven't learned about square roots and radicals, then let me just teach you real fast. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2, all we do is multiply those square roots. So you end up with 8 square root of 4, and you know the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2. So you're left with 8 times 2, which is 16, which happens to be a clean number right there. All right, and a little trick, right? And you're gonna see this, the more you do, the more you're gonna see this is when both of these are the same, that's just like multiplying 8 times 2 and to get that 16. All right, so that's something you learned it here, folks, in Dr. Math Studios. So ready for some more examples? Follow me. All right, and example number 3, and notice what I did. I copied down our triangle again. And again, you always, whenever you learn something, you want to have it there as reference. So if you're in a class, when you're doing your homework, have your notes right next to you. So never leave a classroom with any questions, right? Always ask those questions because you don't want to leave there confused. But better yet, make sure you come back to Dr. Math Studios and I'll set you straight. All right. So for number 3, the most important step, I already told you, is subscribe to this video if you haven't and smash that like button, right? Tell a friend or two what we're doing here for you guys at Dr. Math Studios, right? We're trying to help as many people as possible, so we really need your help, all right? So we know that the opposing side of the 45 degrees is 7 in this case, and so that means that this side over here, since it's the same length, is also 7. And I always want you to identify your hypotenuse. So your hypotenuse is opposite, right? straight across from that right angle. So what did we say? Well, all we do is take that 7 and attach the square root of 2. That easy. So hopefully you're getting the hang of it. All right, so what we want you to do is we're gonna want you to press pause and try number 4, right? And comment down below. So put 4 and then put the answer that you got for number 4, just so you could check your work. And then our community, right? Our Dr. Math community will double check to make sure you got the right answer. And ask your questions if you're confused, right? We're here to help you. All right, so again, comment down below, number 4. All right, number 5 looks a little different, right? It kind of looks familiar, but it's a little different because a lot of people, they get uncomfortable when they see this guy. So when you see the square root, don't worry, right? The rules never change. So notice this side is also 10 square root of 2, right? And so for our hypotenuse, right, which is always opposing the right angle, all we do is you take your side, one of those sides, and then you attach the square root of 2, right? And remember our shortcut. What we said to do is you're going to multiply the 10 times just one of those 2's, and you get 20. But again, if you want to do it the long way, feel free to, right? So with that said, we're going to want you guys to try numbers 6 and 7, get your practice in, and comment down below with your answers to 6 and 7, and we'll check those out for you. All right, so let's jump to number 8, our last example, because number 8 is a little different. All right, so for number 8, notice they're giving us the hypotenuse. They're telling us the long side is the square root of 2. And look at what we did before, right? Let's check out number 5. What we said is whatever your answer is for the short side, for one of these short sides, what you're going to do is just attach the square root of 2. But now look what they're giving us for number 8 and number 6 and number 7. They're giving you the long side. So since they're giving us the longest side, then we're going to do the opposite. All you do is you take away the square root of 2, right? So what we say is x equals 15 square root of 2, and all we're going to do is cancel, take away that square root of 2. But let's say it didn't have a square root of 2. Here's the fix, right? All you do is you divide both sides by, you're going to divide it by the square root of 2, right? So again, to find these lengths, right, when they don't give you these lengths, all you do is you take your longest side and you take away that square root of 2. So I'm just going to divide it out here. So when we divide it out, boom, boom, those guys cancel. So x equals 15. So x equals 15, and that means that y equals 15. And then we could always see if does this make sense, right? Because the math always has to make sense. So according to our rule, right, if these sides are 15, that means this side right here is also 15, and then we attach the square root of 2. And that's exactly what we get here. So it checks out. So again, as you're writing your notes, hopefully you're writing these notes here, when they give you the hypotenuse, all you're doing is dividing by the square root of 2, and that's how you get your answer. All right, folks, so hopefully that was very helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend or 10,000 about the good things we're doing here in Dr. Math Studios. Happy holidays, folks.